Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kristen Price, the host of the Women Entrepreneur Series, and I am so excited. I am ecstatic here to have Miss Patricia Fripp, and I want to tell you a little bit about her. She is a Hall of Fame keynote speaker. She's executive speech coach. She's a sales presentation and online expert. She was elected the first woman to become president of the National Speakers Association. As a presentation skills expert, Kipler's Personal Finance wrote that learning presentation skills from Patricia Fripp is one of the best ways to invest in you. She is the author of 2 books and co-author of another 3. In 2019, she was named one of the top 30 women in sales and one of the top 30 global gurus. That's huge. Welcome, Miss Patricia Fripp.
My pleasure to be with you.
Yes, you are an awesome woman. And I want to get into the details because you have so much treasure in you. And ladies that are watching, listen to the key nugget skills and things that she presents. I want to start this. You started as someone that would work on top of people's heads. I've heard you say in a speech, and then you now are working in people's heads. So how did you transition from you were a beautician to transitioning into what you do now?
Well, when I was young in England, I served a 3-year apprenticeship to be a ladies' hairstylist. At 20, I arrived in America, no job, nowhere to live, didn't know anyone, had $500. And I knew everyone in America was rich and the streets were paved with movie stars. And my second job here, I was one of the first women in men's hairstyling when it was a new industry, and I worked for the Hollywood hairstylist Jay Sebring. I started traveling nationwide for a hair product company, delivering seminars and hair cutting demonstrations. And my executive clientele in my salon were saying, well, if you're speaking, hey, come to my Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, could you speak at my staff meeting? And after 2 free talks, I realized this was the least expensive way and the most fun way I could promote my business, because younger people would not realize there was a time we promoted ourselves and our businesses without the internet, social media, contact management systems, certainly no LinkedIn, YouTube, nothing. It was the phone and a typewriter. Wow. This was a great way to promote my business. And I was a very ambitious person. And point 1, okay, your mother was right. All our mothers were right. Our mothers told us all in different words, no matter what culture we come from, you will be judged by the people you associate with.
Powerful.
And all my best friends I met in the Dale Carnegie public speaking and leadership courses and Toastmasters. And we went to every seminar. And through going to seminars, I heard about the National Speakers Association. And the first National Speakers Association convention I attended, I was 32 years old. I was 2 years in a 10-year lease on my business. And I thought, no one's going to want to talk to me. I only talk to Rotary clubs and hairstylists. And I went, and this is the second point that's very important. Okay. I went because a professional speaker said, Patricia, you must go. And I'm a great believer. If someone you admire and wish to emulate gives you advice, you don't ask, how much does it cost? You do it.
Right.
And at that first convention, I saw the possibility of what could be possible from speaking. I realized this could be my next profession. Wow. I was smart enough to realize that this is a long-term goal. And third point, think big, start small. Have the vision of what you want, but realize there are quite a few steps in between your goal. The second situation that appeared at that convention, I got discovered at a program for new speakers could stand up and give 10 minutes of their material by a big time promoter who booked me to speak to 2,000 people on the same program with some of the most popular speakers at the time. So that is the beginning.
Wow.
Now, once I use speaking to promote my business.
Right.
While I was developing my skills. So my two careers were going on. I was developing one while I had the foundation and the security of having an ongoing business. You don't quit your day job with no financial security,
right,
or at least a good start on your second career. It's just like one of my friends who used to give financial advice to women always said, plan your divorce. Don't just walk out one day.
Oh my goodness.
So that was the beginning. And the line you were talking about, in 2000, 60 Minutes, the popular TV news story show, was at came to the National Speakers Association convention. And they interviewed a lot of speakers. And I was smart enough to know, if I'm going to get on 60 Minutes, I have to give them a short, pithy point, perhaps amusing.
Right.
I had to speak in a tweetable length quote long before Twitter was invented. And this is what I call a soundbite, or a $100 phrase.
Wow.
And what I said was, as a hairstylist, I used to work on the outside of people's heads. Now, as a motivational speaker, I work on the inside of people's heads.
Yeah.
And so I say that line got me on 60 Minutes. That half inch has made me millions of dollars.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
Not all in the same year.
Right. But it took that. And it was crazy because as I was looking and searching and just getting information about you, I was like, she was on 60 Minutes. Wow. I look at you've done so many things and experienced so many things. And even me connecting with you, your personality is so electric. You want to just sit in front of you and just listen. And tell me this, when you started speaking, because you said you had to learn the craft, you had to learn that. So what were things that you looked at to be a better connector to people? Like what did you research? Because I heard you say Dale Carnegie, I think you said.
Well, Dale Carnegie and Toastmasters. And I'm sure many of the people that are watching this know about Toastmasters, which is the least expensive way you can build your confidence and develop your skills. And any Toastmaster club is frankly as good as the members in there who give you feedback. So in those days, of course, it was going to seminars, and then we used to listen to, your audience won't even know what cassette tapes are, but I still have plenty of them left, and a tape recorder. But the point is, the shortest way to learn what you want, is to learn from others who have already done it. Now, if we fast forward to now, of course, I have an online learning program, Fripp VT, with the best of what I've learned in over 30 years, focusing on one subject. We have websites. I have nearly 1,000 blog posts and free resources and articles, a lot that we're offering to your audience. So you shorten your learning curve by learning from others.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know where we are, but maybe the fourth point, because obviously, we can laugh and I'm sure publicly, well, she's got to be old. There used to be a time without the internet. Yes, there was. And what you have to remember is any career that you're in, any business that you have, if you are going to do well at it, you have to realize what I got paid to do around delivering speeches 30 years ago. And I mean, there was a long time, I delivered to 100 to 120 keynote speeches a year.
Wow.
And the secret for any entrepreneur is to listen to your customers. because your customers and clients will tell you what they want to buy from you.
Yes, yes.
And why I remember there were a couple of turning points in my speaking career. And that was when a national sales manager at a conference I was speaking at said, "Oh, I liked your speech, but I loved how you delivered it. Can you teach our salespeople to speak that way?"
Right.
And she told me, "Look, it takes a year for us to be in a position to deliver a 1 hour presentation to a hospital board. It's worth $9 million a year if we get the business, and we are losing business. Has nothing to do with our offering or our price. It has to do with the fact that the presentation skills of our competitors are better than ours."
Wow.
So she gave me a direction when I started working on that program, which of course is not what I can do for my clients today, but it got me in a certain direction because I'd spent years learning techniques. So obviously I started formulating my own adaptation, because when you're talking about presentation skills,
Okay.
I always say I teach timeless techniques and proven principles, of course, with my take and perhaps my interpretation to shorten people's timeline. And then, of course, I started listening. I said, "Well, while you're here, can you help our executive? He's not a good speaker." So although today I still speak virtually and in person at conferences, how I really make my living, which is a matter of evolving. People talk about reinventing themselves. I don't think I reinvented myself. I evolved.
Wow.
Using the same skills I'd used as a keynote speaker to translate it and teach other people to shorten their learning curves.
That makes sense.
So I spend a lot of time taking other people and take what they want to talk about technology, RFID technology, and turn it into really engaging, entertaining content that simplifies the complex for their potential audience or customers. Now, I couldn't have done this 30 years ago, you understand. You see,
Right.
all the superpowers, and I would encourage everyone who listens, what is your superpower? What is it you do better than anybody else? And it isn't that you were born with a superpower. I'm sure Wonder Woman and Superman were, but mere mortals, we develop our superpowers. And
Absolutely.
my superpower was developed from years of looking at how you present and perform and entertain, and looking at other disciplines, bringing it into business communication, is to listen to what people say and just almost instantaneously say, "Oh, that would be better if you said it that way." So I take words out of their mouths, polish them up, pop them back in, say, "Write that down. That's what you're going to say."
Wow. All in one quick thing. Wow, that's powerful. That is powerful. I think about this in executives that are watching this, people that are running their companies. And a lot of times people are in business, they're not happy. They're in something and they're not joyfully leading. So this series is talking about joyfully leading your company, joyfully leading your life, your family, whatever you may be leading. What are some takeaways that these people, those that are watching, the audience can watch and say, I can now shift my way of thinking, and joyfully lead my organization?
If you want to joyfully lead, I suggest you find a way to fall in love with your own business again. In fact, I compare the relationship we have with our business, our job, our profession, to a relationship you might have with a person. So, for example, you meet someone.
Okay.
And you all over Twitter, it's excitement. And then in any personal relationship, you get to the reality stage. And then you get to the next stage, which might be looking, and it might not be looking for another partner or another mate. It's just looking for other ways to bring more excitement and passion into your life.
Okay.
So every entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember I am an entrepreneur. When I came to America at 20, as a hairstylist, I worked 100% on commission. No guarantee, no sick pay, no vacation pay, no pension plan, 100% on commission. Even when I worked for other people, I had an entrepreneurial mindset because
Absolutely.
how much I worked, how much I promoted affected my paycheck. And I out-earned and outworked anyone I ever worked alongside. Now, once you go into your business for yourself, I loved being a men's hairstylist. I loved promotion. Once you go in a business for yourself, it's not as much fun anymore. Because what you do, you listen, you're cutting hair and you're listening. The phone rang 3 times. Why hadn't someone picked it up? You know, oh, you can hear a conversation in another booth. He's asking her what to do with his hair and she isn't selling him product. You know, this is, so it isn't as much fun. So what you have to do is find ways to fall in love. And the first way I would suggest is, one, do what I did. Go outside and promote by giving a good speech. Now, it can't be a sales presentation, but it can be what you know about. For example, in the early days, my early speeches was how to get, keep, and deserve customers, because that's what I was doing in my own business. Now, what you also then is need to do, if you're going to joyfully lead, you have to sit down with your team or virtually meet with your team, even if it's only one other person. And people are going to be more committed when they're involved in designing how we're going to do it. Absolutely. So you say is, look, our mission is to be the best, whatever it is, in our town, our state, or in our area. Let's look at every step of what we do. And I want you help me decide how we can do it 10% better.
Powerful.
So it's a matter of getting people involved more.
Getting people involved.
And let's face it, not every employee that we hire is right. And none of us like conflict. I don't like conflict, but there were times you got to fire people. And you got to fire people who might be high producers. I had to fire my biggest producer.
Wow.
And I tell you, because she could never get to work on time. And I said to her, you tell me what time you want to come to work. Because I went in at 7 in the morning. My first client was 7 in the morning.
Wow.
Now, nobody else is going to do that. They might come in at 8 or 9, depending. I said, you can come at 10 o'clock and work later. So you have a longer hours in the day to serve customers who come in different times, depending on their work schedule. But whatever time you say, you got to live up to that commitment. And I want you to agree. And I had her put it in writing. The next time you are late for coming in at 10 o'clock, don't expect you to come in at 9, come in at 10, you are resigning. And I tell you, everyone liked her personally, but they saw what her work habits were. She was a good hairstylist. She just couldn't get to work on time. So the morale went up.
Right. Wasn't rigorous. That's huge, you know, for executives, just people in general, just keeping your word. If you're going to say you're going to do something, you do it. You know, I want to ask you this, for someone that's not confident. So they're running a company, but they're like, they have this underlying thing that's telling them, well, I'm doing this, but you know, I'm not the best at this, or they're looking outside and looking instead of looking inside. What can they do, or what kind of thought process can they walk through to build their confidence? What should they do? Does that make sense?
Our future success will come from building on our past success. Because, of course, I help people with their speeches. And people say, I'm a terrible speaker. I say, one, no, you're an untrained speaker.
Okay.
Two, stop telling yourself what you don't want, because you're reinforcing. There's a lot of research about your subconscious mind and your self-talk. So the more you say, oh God, I'm awful at this, the more you're going to perpetuate that. So one, you realize I am a dynamic entrepreneur in training. And you begin where you are and you take one element. All right, what is one element that I can improve on? It might be organization of your desk. It might be managing your schedule. It might be, let's have a team meeting every Monday. It might, whatever it is, just take one action at a time. And you're going to hate this. I'll give you one or two tiny, easy steps. Then you got to handle the big one.
That's good.
I have got to find a good bookkeeper because my QuickBooks is a mess. That's one for me. Fortunately, I keep saying, you won't fire me, will you?
Bookkeeper. I get it. Look, I can relate. What books do you read? What helps you to grow as a person?
Well, what helps me grow as a person, I would honestly say, what excites me the most is interesting conversation with fascinating people.
Like me. That's cool. That's awesome. So what about reading? What do you read? Or do you read?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I love to read. What I do is I listen to a lot of books on Audible. I'm a big Audible fan, because much though I love reading, and it's a real treat, and of course I read my friends' books, I have a lot of books that I scan. Right. I scan to get the ideas. And so whether it's about the economy, whether it's about presentation skills, my other friends' points of view, customer service, I scan a lot of books. And I, of course, read a lot of blog posts, because today we are a nation of stimulation junkies with short attention spans. So Absolutely. It's a lot easier to look through a blog post. It's a lot easier to watch a YouTube video. So what we as content providers have to do is give people options. So in business, we need to communicate with our customers and prospects the way they want to communicate. Right. Now, if you are in a business where you have customers and clients who are in their 60s and 70s, if you're in perhaps financial services, chances are your customers want to talk to you on the phone. Absolutely. And if you say, I'll get back to you, that person is sitting by the phone thinking it's going to be in the next 10 minutes. Right. You think the end of the day. No. If your clients are young, chances are they don't want to talk to you. You're going to text them. Email, text, yes. So it's a matter of developing a relationship the way your customers, clients want to. Now, hear from someone like me, who is a content provider, a coach, a speaker, an author, a thought leader. We need to, and this is also when it comes to promotion, you have to provide content and information are the way our prospects and customers and followers want it. So, for example, YouTube, a major portion of my business at the moment, I have about 6 different accounts for one of my customers, coaching what I would call real people to become YouTube stars talking about their RFID technology. That's the tracking.
Right.
You know, when FedEx or UPS comes to your house or in their warehouse, how they track all their inventory is one of my clients, a lot of their technology. So I have real people, the people who are their resellers, talking about their customers. Now they're going to put them on YouTube, they're going to put them on their websites, because so we need to use social media. We need to have blog posts and newsletters that we mail out to our customers, because most people, they might read your book. Somebody said to me yesterday, I've already read 15 books this year. That's great. I have already listened to probably 30 or 40 books this year.
Right.
However, see, I've listened to books while I'm making my breakfast, making my bed, putting my makeup on. But I could not tell you how many blog posts and YouTube videos I watched. So it's a matter of providing our message, whatever your message is, in different ways that people might find it. Now, here is one other piece of advice that I want all your entrepreneurs, you're going to have to think how it works for you. Obviously, people like me get asked to be a lot of programs like yours. And people often say, well, going on podcasts, doing all these different online programs. What's the point? Where's the feedback? You know, how do you monetize it? Hold that idea, because your audience is going to think, well, if I have a YouTube channel, if I go in and post in LinkedIn, you know, every week, how's it going to pay off? This is it. My brother, Robert Fripp, is a very well-known guitarist. He has a band called King Crimson. In 2019, his band, King Crimson, had a 50th anniversary tour. And my brother had a press conference in London, full day, and the editor of Rolling Stone magazine flew over from New York, and he said, what is the purpose of the 50th anniversary tour? And my brother, who is definitely the most articulate member of our family, said, to introduce King Crimson to innocent ears. In other words, they have fans that have been following them for 50, 40, 30, 25 years. And by the purpose was to introduce their music to people in their 20s.
Right.
Whose fathers and grandfathers say this is the best band in the world. And so you choose different venues you're going to play at.
Right.
And so that's just an example. So I always say to my speaker friends, when I recommend them a podcast or event like this, you are introducing your message to innocent ears. And what every entrepreneur needs to do is just think, I have my customers who are loyal, even if it's only 5.
Yeah.
How can I tell stories to put on my website about how these 5 customers loved what we do for them? How can you also write that up as a short case history for those people who'd rather read than watch a video? Perhaps you want to send a mailing out. What I often do is put the video and the transcript, whether you want to watch it or read it. Hey, we got it for you.
Yeah. Diversifying different places.
Remember my opening comment. Think big, start small.
That makes sense. Patricia, you've given us so much information, and you've also given the audience a free gift. Could you tell us about what they're going to be able to get by just getting access to this conference?
Yes. So if they go to fripp.com, my name, Fripp, you can see it behind me, /handouts, plural. On that page, you have some videos about putting together presentations. You have special downloads on how to sell more, how to speak better, how to open your presentation, how do you structure your presentation, everything you need to know about putting together a speech. If you, in fact, would like to have a marketing speech, or if you want to develop a speech to showcase your talents and wisdom. So there's plenty of reading there. There's a place, if they want to, they can sign up to hear from me every Tuesday, a piece of advice about speaking or selling or communicating. Easy to get off if it doesn't serve you. All there. Help yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you for your love and your gift and you are a bright light. And I'm so grateful for you being on this series. You are awesome.
Thank
all
you
that
very
you
much.
have encompassed, eating up the knowledge and information. Guys, check out Patricia Fripp. Go to her if you want to learn more about Patricia. Go to her website. Again, it's fripp.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I will put the links. You will have links where you can click on and get in touch with her, and also get her free gifts. So, you guys, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and Patricia, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stop the recorder.